Hey, welcome back, everybody. Great to see you. Hopefully, we're having a wonderful Monday out there. And we've got a good bit to talk about today, from potential southern snow that could even break a 2-year snow drought to more clipper systems on the way that could also enhance some snowfall over portions of the country throughout the next week. And after that, I'm watching a bit of a pattern change that could lead to a new storm track in that 7 to 10 day time frame. Now, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so. Hit that bell for the latest notifications and comment. Let me know where you're watching from and like the video if you enjoy it. Alrighty, with that said, let's go ahead and dive on into things and start talking weather. Now, right now on satellite imagery, things are relatively calm, but I do want to point out this area right here over Iowa, Illinois, and portions of Wisconsin and Missouri. This is a clipper system that is diving southward quite quickly today, and this is going to actually bring some snowfall pretty far south into Tennessee, Kentucky, and even areas of the Carolinas outside of the mountains. Likely to see flakes at least fly tonight, maybe even accumulate in some spots. So we're going to break all that down for you in just a moment. Now, other than that, things are relatively calm outside of the ongoing lake effect snow that we've been seeing. That is continuing today and will continue through the foreseeable future. But it will also get enhanced by some more storm systems that kind of cross over the lakes later on this week. But other than that, I mean, all is well across the country. It is cold for many folks. I'm sure you feel it. I feel it here in Charlotte. Trust me. Definitely not the most enjoyable temperatures out there for sure, but it is meteorological winter now, so you would expect it to start cooling down. All right, so current radar is, again, pretty quiet overall, but we do have these areas that we're watching, specifically this clipper system, and we're going to watch this regularly today, through portions of the Midwest to see if it begins to already overperform or if it's kind of about where the models have it. Now, if it already has more precipitation falling than maybe the models thought, that could mean more snow potentially into the Carolinas tonight. And then we could actually see some accumulations. On the other hand, if it looks a little bit drier than maybe some of the models projected, then it may be a little less likely that we see some of that snowfall through parts of the southeast. But I'll tell you, it's snowing pretty good back through Des Moines into Galesburg, Illinois, back down towards Quincy, and then moving into the Springfield area today. This will also cross down into Kentucky and Tennessee, where we already have some leftover snow from some of this northwest flow that has been happening. We got some snow in the mountains of North Carolina last night along the Tennessee line. I know we had reports of snow in Blacksburg, Virginia this morning, and that will definitely be a common theme, I think, throughout the day today. Now to the north, snow continuing in the lake effect regions, the UP of Michigan up near Marquette getting some pretty good snowfall into the northern mitten, and then even kind of here into the western coastline near Grand Haven, Holland, and even South Haven seeing some of that snow on the western shores of Michigan, and then even up into portions of Canada, into the Toronto area, seeing some of these snow bands coming off of Lake Huron, and it's accumulating big time here near London, Canada. Seeing a lot of that kind of hit the ground. And then into the northeast, we've still got some lake effect ongoing here as well. So definitely still active pattern for some folks. Others, though, not so much. Now, watch this morning's advisories will start up here in the Northeast and the Midwest. All lake effect is what we're dealing with here. Pink boxes are winter storm warnings, purple boxes, winter weather advisories, and then lake effect snow warnings there from Cleveland all the way up through Erie as we're continuing to see that flow off the lakes. Now, to the south, all of these boxes are generally speaking for winter weather. So this kind of beige color from Iowa all the way back down into portions of the Carolinas and Virginia. That is for snow that is on the way today and even on the way this evening. That could accumulate this out here into Memphis and into portions of Little Rock. Actually, we can see what that's for. Let's see. I'm going to pull this up on the fly. We will check. That's for fog. So, all right, there you go. I did that on the fly. I was kind of confused myself. I was like, it's not going to snow there. It's probably fog, but I didn't want to lie to you. So that's going to be for fog. The others for winter weather. That is, again, going to happen from that clipper system today. Other than that, folks, I mean, not a lot happening out there. Kind of in a lull from any major specific storm systems. It's more kind of a regionalized outbreaks of some winter weather today, if you will. All right, let's go ahead and time it out for you a little bit more. This is the clipper system we're watching today. Notice this little area of enhanced spin in the atmosphere, enhanced vorticity. That's going to swing in through portions of the Midwest today, already is doing that, and then eventually getting down into portions of the Ohio River Valley tonight. Now, this will pass into Kentucky, Tennessee, and then it's right around here into the Carolinas that we're going to see the potential for snowfall. In fact, probably even a little bit before that. Right around here, this is right after sunset through the early morning hours of tomorrow. You'll notice this enhanced spin here, and we're going to get just enough lift in to the Charlotte area. I think that we could squeeze out some snow showers. In fact, I would say it's even likely we squeeze out some snow showers as we get into that time frame. Now, let's time it out for you here on radar. And by the way, I did not forget about meteorology in minutes. I'm kind of placing it in a little bit of a different area of the video today. Timing this out into the later morning hours of today and into the early afternoon, here's what the latest high-resolution rapid refresh is projecting. And I think radar's already probably overperforming this by a little bit. So that's a good sign for snow lovers into the Carolinas that this will make it over the mountain chain. But here we go. We've got snow breaking out into western Kentucky this afternoon, even down into portions of Tennessee. We've got flakes flying as far south as Nashville. By the time the sun's going down, even Knoxville. I wouldn't be surprised if Chattanooga picks up on a couple of flakes. Really, the entire state of Kentucky and Tennessee. It's going to be scattered snow showers this afternoon, this evening. Now, not accumulating to a lot here, but it likely will. The ground is quite cold. And we're going to get pretty good snow ratios out of this, meaning it's going to be actually more of a dry snow and not that heavy wet snow that you're used to with kind of some of the profiles we're seeing. Now, we get later on into tonight. This is probably about 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. We've got snow showers as far south as northern Alabama, southern Tennessee, and even potentially into North Georgia. Now, as far south as northern Alabama, northern Georgia, and maybe even the northeastern corner of Mississippi here, not expecting really any sort of accumulation. Now, I think a couple people could maybe pick up on a quick dusting somewhere, but not enough to cause any problems. More something that you wake up tomorrow, you look outside and you're like, oh, wow, it snowed last night. Kind of one of those more novelty events. And then all this kind of hits the mountains of North Carolina this evening, and you'll notice what begins to happen at that same time frame is we begin to see some snow showers breaking out even into the Carolinas. So already got plenty of northwest flow. That's going to squeeze out some pretty good snow totals into the mountains along the Tennessee line. And I'll show you those totals in a second, but I think you're going to be surprised by how high some of them are. We get this a little later on, though, and we get a new area of precipitation to kind of blossom here into the foothills, kind of near the Hickory area, back up towards Statesville. Overnight tonight, and what happens is that dives southward and eventually gets into the Charlotte metro, even into the Triad, back out towards Albemarle and Asheboro, North Carolina as well, seeing some of those flakes fly. And then the HRRR continues to work this southbound through the US 74 corridor, tries to bring some snow showers into the Fayetteville area, back out towards Lumberton, even a couple flakes making it through the PD of South Carolina before it all dries up. And by the time we're waking up tomorrow morning, nothing really left on radar. So it's going to be one of those events, don't blink or you'll miss it, but I do think we will see snowfall accumulating, especially into this area of the Ohio and Tennessee Valley, probably a dusting upwards of an inch in spots here. From eastern Missouri along the Mississippi River into much of southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and then Kentucky and Tennessee going to pick up on probably a good dusting upwards of half an inch. Now, some of the higher, more hilly terrains, kind of the Cumberland Plateau, I think maybe upwards a little bit closer to an inch compared to that dusting range. So definitely watch out for that. But then we bring this into the Carolinas. And we'll kind of zoom in here along the mountain chains here along the Tennessee line. We're talking 3 to 5 inches of snow on some of these ridge tops, 1 to 3 inches as you go a little bit lower in elevation. But either way, I think most folks there in the normal northwest flow place is going to pick up on at least an inch of snow. Even outside of there, Asheville, I think some flakes will fly. Maybe a 1/10 of an inch of snow will fall. And then you'll notice this other kind of bullseye from Hickory to Charlotte, back out towards Albemarle, Uwharrie National Forest, and then even down towards the Wadesboro area, could absolutely see some light accumulations. I'll tell you, I think this is going to be kind of a boom or bust event. Now, maybe not boom or bust, but I do think there is higher end potential than what some of the models are showing. In fact, I would not be surprised if somebody, basically where the model is showing, but especially to the east of the city of Charlotte, kind of between Fayetteville and Greensboro, if you were to draw a triangle right into here, kind of where I have that circle, I wouldn't be surprised to see half an inch of snowfall in some places. In a best case scenario, maybe someone picks up a quick inch if this kind of overperforms a little bit. Again, it's going to be cold out there. It's going to stick easily. And could definitely be a surprise event, but still not expecting any impacts. Even a worst case scenario, you would probably still be able to see the pavement on the road, besides maybe some back roads that are a little more shaded. It could be a bit more of a concern but not expecting business closures or anything like that out of this event. All right, so ongoing lake effect, that's also something we need to talk about. We'll start up into Michigan and the Wisconsin area through this afternoon. The winds have shifted a little bit from a couple days ago. A couple days ago, it was more kind of coming out of the northwest. Now it's more north to south flow. So we're seeing more snow through much of the UP compared to just portions of the Upper Peninsula. Same story here into the Northern Mitten, where we have a little bit of more of a fetch here between Lake Michigan and Superior, and then kind of down into the western coast of Michigan as well. In fact, even a little bit of a mesolow here, which the formation of that is quite interesting. That's kind of what I was going to talk about here in meteorology in minutes. You notice how we get a little bit of a closed isobar here. Almost looks like a donut on the map. That's actually a closed off area of low pressure that forms over the lakes. And funnily enough, it forms similar to a hurricane. This is a warm chord low pressure. And this will definitely be interesting this afternoon on radar to see if this pans out the way that this model is projecting it to, at least. But basically what happens is we've got very warm lake surface temperatures, very cold conditions above it, and that creates a very unstable kind of atmospheric conditions there. You get all of that rising motion, and sometimes it can be enough to create its own little low pressure along the lakes. And it's basically kind of like a mini hurricane over the lake. Now, you don't go off telling people, Gerald said, hurricanes can form over the Great Lakes, but the formation process is similar. And it's kind of a cool little tidbit there. And again, we'll be very interested to see if that does form one of those little mesolows over the, Lake Michigan this afternoon. Okay, so moving this further ahead into this afternoon and evening, it's going to be more of the same. Snow squall, snow squall, snow squall. Overnight tonight, it's going to continue. A lot of the same people getting in on more snow, kind of a rich get richer kind of setup. But then we get into tomorrow afternoon, and the winds once again shift. Instead of north to south, we're going back from northwest to southeast as a new clipper system kind of begins to work on into the picture here for the middle of the work week. This is Tuesday afternoon, diving southward and bringing more of a shield of snow compared to lake effect. This would be Tuesday overnight and into the early morning hours of Wednesday. Now, pulling this back out towards the northeast, a similar story today, lake effect continuing. In fact, I would not be surprised this afternoon and evening to see some of these little squalls trying to break containment and even getting into eastern Pennsylvania and even portions of the Hudson River Valley could see a couple flakes fly throughout your evening of tonight, but overall nothing too crazy. In fact, I also would not be surprised to see a little bit of bay effect snow maybe into Long Island or into the Cape, or even some bay effect snow into the Delmarva. Excuse me, would not be completely out of the question with this setup over the afternoon hours today and into the evening. But we get later on tonight, there's that little snow in North Carolina we just talked about. But more the same. It's banding after banding. And you folks again up here into the kind of areas close to Michigan and Canada here. I need to get better on my geography, but back towards that London, Canada area we were looking at earlier. I mean, that band of snow is absolutely dumping. So if you happen to just be watching in that area, would love some reports on how much snow you've got. And obviously anyone else in the Northeast seeing it, go ahead and send me those reports in the comments. As we continue into Tuesday morning and afternoon, more of the same lake effect just continuing to ramp up here. And again, the winds are going to be shifting a little bit throughout the time period here. So 1 second it's kind of north to south, then it goes east to west, and it's kind of somewhere in between. So not everyone is going to be seeing snow all the time. If you're one area, you might look to the north and say, okay, that's a huge lake effect band, I'm getting nothing. And then later on, it's over you. It's kind of just the way lake effect works here. But not slowing down through the next 48 hours is the big theme here, now through tomorrow night and into the early morning hour of Wednesday. All right, how much lake effect are we talking? This is over the next 48 hours, so kind of a couple winters here into the Upper Peninsula. In fact, let me bump this up because I think we're going to see more snow than this. Let's see. Yeah, this is probably, it's probably a little bit of a better estimation here. So up into the northern UP, or just into the UP in general, sorry. Another half a foot to a foot of snow, not going to be a problem to come by. Into the northern mitten here, same story, and then down into southwestern Michigan as well. Again, I think half a foot to a foot of snow is going to be a very real possibility. And then areas in between 1 to 3, 3 to 5 inches, kind of along, what road is this? Let's see if it'll tell me. The US 31 corridor, if that's a road that sounds familiar to you in Michigan. again, snow along that area through the next 48 hours. We get this back into Canada. Again, I was talking about places here near London, Canada, and surrounding areas. A lot of snow on the way. And I just realized this map does not, for some reason, show Canadian cities. It just shows the roads. All right, well, that's unfortunate. Sorry. It's a U.S. government map, so I guess they don't really care. So either way, though, a lot of snow here in this area. I think this will be one of the hot spots over the next 48 hours. And then here along Lake Erie itself, back up just south of Buffalo, north of Cleveland, this corridor, half a foot plus of snow to come over the next 48 hours. And now lesser totals in the Tug Hill. We've kind of maxed out the preferable wind direction that we had earlier this week. That's when we got most of our snow here, but still some more on the way. Then outside of that, like I said, maybe a little bit of Bay effect snow here into the kind of areas of Cape Cod off of the bay here into Nantucket. And then this is overdoing it. I think we bring the map back down to reality a little bit, but could see some flurries down here into Long Island, at least back out towards kind of the, I think this is maybe called Montauk. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Luckily, the map had it there. Back out towards Montauk in that area, you could see some flurries or even some brief snow showers over the next 48 hours for sure. All right, that's kind of the near term. What about the medium and the long term? Well, the next big story is kind of what I teased at there with that next Clipper system. Here it is, a big old piece of energy. This is Wednesday afternoon, diving out of Canada and into the Northeast, and this will bring enhanced lake effect and also kind of lake-enhanced precipitation as it crosses the lakes. This is overnight Wednesday into Thursday, a big area of spin going to bring some snow to a lot of folks into the interior Northeast and up into the Great Lakes. That swings on through, and then after that, another little piece of energy tries to get going later this weekend. Now, if you want snow in the Mid-Atlantic and you haven't seen any yet, we're running out of time with this pattern. I'm just going to be honest with you. We need to get something soon, or the pattern's going to flip a little bit. And I think this is probably the best chance. The models have been kind of somewhat back and forth a little bit and teasing the idea that maybe this northern stream energy and this southern stream energy could try to connect. This is a little less than a week from now, probably 5-6 days into the weekend. And they're not far off, I will say that. And the models were hinting at this a couple days ago. It had a big storm out of this. They've kind of backed off since, but you do see sometimes in the near term that sometimes these pieces can trend towards a better solution, and it's possible. But right now, the models are not really showing it. But what you would want is this piece of energy to really dive down like this instead and connect with our southern stream energy. And then you could get a strong low pressure to form somewhere in the mid-Atlantic or southeast, and then kind of bring snow somewhere into the eastern United States. Now, is that what's going to happen? Right now, probably not. I'd give it a 2 out of 10 shot, and then the other 8 out of 10 scenarios are more of just this staying a clipper and working on through the Northeast on its own. But we'll watch it for sure. It's something to monitor. It's not impossible for it to happen. Again, even some of the models were hinting at it and kind of backed off a little bit. But that's really the next hope for big snow outside of the interior Northeast and lake effect regions. All right, so quickly I'm going to just breeze through this and then we'll zoom in a little bit more. Here's the first system. This is Wednesday afternoon. That gets in the Northeast. Again, banding of lake effect or really lake-enhanced precipitation at this point. So more people get in on it through Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York State, into the Northeast. I think even the folks that haven't seen snow yet could see snow out of it through Connecticut, Massachusetts, northern New Jersey. Obviously, you folks had that big snowstorm, I guess, about 2 weeks ago now. But maybe some snow out of this one. That looks to be the more potent one. Could even bring some northwest flow into West Virginia and could pile up pretty quickly. Now, another thing that you would hope for if you want big snow outside of the interior Northeast is this clipper or maybe the next one if it doesn't phase with the southern piece to kind of phase off the coast and hit a favorable area for cyclogenesis, and then that could lead to some bigger snow totals. And some of the models also showed that a couple days ago, but have since backed off. So we're kind of in a hope for the best and kind of plan for what's forecasted moment right now with the snowfall. But that first clipper, nonetheless, does look to be pretty potent for a lot of folks. And then here comes the second one diving down. This is that piece of energy I said you want to dive a little bit further south. And you'll notice the players are on the field here, folks. We've got the northern energy. We've got the southern energy. We've just got too much room in between. It's, I guess, not Valentine's Day or whatever. But they're not really connecting and bringing us what we want to see, if you're a snow lover at least, into the east. But I do think that one will still bring an enhancement of some lake effect and other kind of snow into the region. And then we see a little bit of a pattern change. We'll talk about that next. But before we do, let's go ahead and zoom on in a little bit here to the east. All right, this is the first Clipper system. This is Wednesday afternoon, bringing snow through Wisconsin, Michigan, and then into the Northeast. And you'll notice, a pretty good area of snow. I don't think this is going to be an entire big shield of snow, but I think it'll be a lot of snow showers that kind of, again, get enhanced after they hit off the lakes here. For you folks in the I-95 corridor, let's go ahead and take a little sounding here because, let's take a sounding right into Long Island. You're seeing rain on the map, and unfortunately, that's probably about right. We've got just a little bit too much warm air at the surface, but I do think it could mix with snow in portions of the I-95 corridor, especially up towards the Boston and Connecticut area. Going to have a higher end chance, but unfortunately, the oceans are really warm right here along I-95, and that's preventing some of this colder air from staying at the surface and, preventing this from being a bigger snow event for you. But interior Northeast, I do think we'll get some pretty good snow out of this. Even like I said, Western Massachusetts, Northern Connecticut, Northern New Jersey, areas just north of I-95, probably going to see some snow out of this one as well as that swings on through. And you'll even notice some rain in the Southeast later this week because of it. That's the first one. Here comes the second Clipper system. This one, similar story. This one will probably have a higher end chance of bringing snow to Boston, Connecticut, Rhode Island. This is later this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. But like I said, we'll see how this one trends. It could go one way or the other, or maybe what the models are showing now is correct. I mean, it's a very real possibility. But that swings on through and brings some snow as well. And then there comes the next storm, and that will be the next topic. Alrighty, let's go ahead and talk about how much snow is going to fall with these, and not even really how much is going to fall, but what is the chance that you even see snow fall out of it, I guess is probably a better way to word it. So here we go. This is the chance of at least an inch of snow falling within a 24-hour period. Here comes the first Clipper, and you'll notice where the likely winners are. UP of Michigan, definitely going to see an inch of snow. Much of the state of Michigan going to see an inch of snow. Eastern Canada, plenty of snow. The normal areas, Erie, Buffalo, upstate New York, interior Northeast, it's going to snow. Okay, I can basically guarantee you. What about some other areas? Now, New York City, not a very good chance, but you get back into northern New Jersey, chances start going up that we're going to get at least an inch of snow out of these snow showers. And like I said, I even think Philadelphia, well, maybe not Philadelphia as much, but New York City, up to Bridgeport, up to Boston, this corridor in here, I think you have a chance of at least seeing flakes fly. Now, will it accumulate? That's going to be a tougher ask for sure. But I do think portions of northern Connecticut here, not far from Hartford, back over towards Waterbury, Kent, and then up into Springfield, Massachusetts, western Massachusetts near Worcester. Let me know if I said that one right, by the way. I'd love to hear. And then into the Boston area, higher chances of accumulating snowfall out of the first event. And then lower here through southern New Jersey, the Delmarva, and into the Cape. Going to be a lot more difficult due to those warm ocean temperatures. Now, that's the first storm system. That one swings on through. Then we calm down a little bit. Lake effect continues. Then here comes the next Clipper. And you'll notice this one has a higher area of uncertainty right now. It's a little bit further out in the time. We're a little less confident. But likely snow up into Michigan, snow into eastern Canada here. And then even snow chances from Boston down through Connecticut, Rhode Island. And then getting lesser once you get down towards Philadelphia, but we'll say New York City northbound, potential snow with that system. Like I said, we'll get closer. We'll continue to monitor it. We'll see if it trends one way or another. Again, the model's been a little back and forth, but we'll hope that it's a bigger storm if you're a snow lover. Again, I like snow. I like tracking snow. We'll hope that it can phase with some energy or do something more exciting, or else we're going to kind of waste this pattern a little bit through portions of the I-95 corridor and the Mid-Atlantic. All right, so this little pattern change I was talking about, again, I think about a week from now, after that second Clipper system I just mentioned, we're likely to see some ridging try to build back into the east. And what that's going to do is move our storm track to more of a cutter pattern, meaning it's not going to ride up the East Coast. Instead, it's going to kind of cut through the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley. And this could prompt a pretty feisty storm system. I'll show you the latest models, the GFS for that time frame. This is this coming Sunday. Afternoon, you'll notice energy developing down near the Gulf. And at this time on the GFS, we still have cold air left over. We've got high pressure here in the Northeast. And what this could do, a big could, again, this is a week or plus away right now, but this could lead to some icing through portions of the East. The GFS rides the storm north, and you're saying, well, what ice? Well, here it is. GFS is an all-out ice storm through portions of the Northeast, and then even a snowstorm and a winter storm through other areas, but you get the overall idea here. The storm path is not like this anymore. We're not doing cutters. By a week from now, we're going to, well, I guess we are doing cutters, just not for example, we're not doing clippers. It's been a long morning. We're not doing clippers, we're doing cutters at this point, meaning that they're going to do this kind of from the south to the north instead of out of Canada and then diving down into the northeast. So a different pattern could bring new snow chances to new people. It's very possible. Like the GFS shows here, could also bring ice chances to some people should we have some cold air damming left over. And then after that, you notice the pattern kind of just turns into this with these storm systems working south-north, and then eventually you see one do what you want to see, but that's so far out there, just kind of ignore that I even showed it to you. All right, European model, same time frame, same kind of idea next week. Now, what's different on the European is not as much cold air in front of this thing, so it's really just a rainstorm. This is next Monday morning. We've got rain all the way up into Canada as we get a surge of some warmer temperatures to start next week. And then after that, in about 10 days, the European gets a more potent storm system, and that one could increase winter storm chances somewhere. But that's well into the future and plenty of time to monitor all of it. Alrighty, folks, that's all I got for you on this Monday. Again, we've got 2 clippers. We got some Carolina snow tonight to enjoy, and then a pattern change about a week from now. We will see, how that works. Maybe it brings some ice. Maybe it just brings some cold rain. Definitely something that we will monitor. Alrighty, folks, y'all have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you all tomorrow.